You were sacked from the BBC.
I was, 65 and white. You're first on the chopping block, and Anne Boleyn and all that. Heads will roll. People at the head of the BBC, they are woke. The world's changed, hasn't it?
Mark Lawrenson, the £1 million man from Liverpool.
We basically just went around Europe getting drunk after playing, and winning. Some of the things you would get away with, but you could just say, just now, absolutely impossible.
So they said you weren't going to do the final because of that comment that you made?
If you go over the line, you're in trouble.
Jürgen Klopp has said that he's going to leave at the end of the season.
He'll get a statue. Well, he won every competition, hasn't he? From the first day, he absolutely totally got it. He's been magnificent.
The pay when you were a player is a lot less than it is now. Is that painful?
So it was over $1 million. 2.5 a week, probably, innit? Don't know where it's gone. Getting injured was sort of snapped my Achilles and I couldn't run. My insurance payout was about 140 grand, tax-free. Ghislaine,
right, yeah.
who's obviously in prison. I went out for lunch with her once. Robert Maxwell, I know he was pushed off a boat because he wasn't paying Israel the money that he borrowed off them.
On the show today, I have a Liverpool legend who won everything. We talk about Klopp's legacy and Mark opens up about being sacked from the BBC. Before we get into this, like, subscribe and hit the bell. Okay, so I wanted to jump straight in, as it were. You were sacked from the BBC not that long ago.
Start with an easy one.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I think it's fair to say you weren't happy about it. What happened there?
I wasn't happy with the way that they dealt with me, basically. I've been there nearly 25 years. Great. But I was just signing 1-year contracts, season to season. And I got a phone call probably late March. So my contracts would have been up in, end of June. And the guy came on to me, and I was only doing Football Focus then, just every other one and stuff like that. But he said, we're taking Football Focus on the road next year. And I went, all right. He says, you won't want to go, will you?
Right.
And I went, well, it would have been nice to have been asked. He said, well, no. And I went, so basically, I'm gone. He went, no, don't put it like that. Don't put it like that. And I went, yeah, I'm gone. But I kind of knew it was coming. Okay. And the thing that really pissed me off was, instead of ringing me and saying, look, you've had a great run, thanks very much, and, we're going in a different direction. It was, and I thought, typical BBC. Basically, I was 65 and white, and good night, Lucy. Right, but there's a few of us, isn't there? Steve Wright, who's just passed away, obviously, which God love him. I think they pushed him out, didn't they? He just did a Sunday morning programme on the radio. Ken Bruce was another one. He spotted it early. He got out, and Sue Barker. And I know they asked Sue Barker to say that she'd had a great time and all that, and it was her decision. And about 3 weeks later, she did this article and went, no, it wasn't. They just asked me to say that. But it is what it is, isn't it?
Do you think the BBC's gone woke? I mean, you mentioned around...
Oh, gone woke?
Right.
It's unbelievable. It's top of the woke league.
Okay.
They're frightened to death. Absolutely, totally frightened to death. And, you've seen the stuff with Gary, haven't you? With Gary Lineker and obviously people at the head of the BBC. And it's just... I don't know. It's. I think day by day, I think the integrity of the corporation actually gets chipped off.
Okay.
Every day, because it used to be absolutely fantastic, but they are woke plus 100%.
When you say that they're terrified to death, what do you think they're actually afraid of?
I think they're frightened because they say to everybody, you can't say this, you can't do that, and it's just look, it's somebody's opinion, and. The thing with Gary Lineker was that he works for himself.
Right.
So he's entitled to his own opinion, which, and obviously, rightly or wrongly, he's got an opinion about everything, even in the inside of a ping pong ball. But you used to go on the programme and, you obviously had your ears, headset in your ears and everything like that. And they'd be talking to you and, obviously from the gallery, and somebody would ask a question, and you'd want to jump in, and they go, "No, don't say anything, and you go, "What, really?" And that got to me a bit in the end. So Hansen was the best. Finished after the World Cup in Brazil.
Yep.
I'm done, and he's not done anything since for anybody apart from Kenny got an award, didn't he? BBC achievement, lifetime achievement, and Al went and gave him his trophy on the telly and stuff. But maybe I should have just done that. But it was, I had a great run at it. But it's just changed. But the world's changed, hasn't it?
Yeah,
completely. And you don't. I mean, some of the things you would not say get away with, but you could just say just now, just absolutely impossible.
It's interesting to think about, like, is a BBC, are they reacting to, as you say, the world's changed, or are they one of the organisations that's pushed it in that direction?
No, I think they were caught out, weren't they? In many, many ways, and that's why. I mean, there's been so much change there. Certainly in the sport, and obviously they've lost quite a few rights. I mean, they've still got Match of the Day, which is massive. I think they've got it for another 4 years as well, which is good. I'm reading this morning that they might lose the FA Cup.
Right. Okay.
Is it TNT?
Yeah.
I think
TNT. They have the Champions League.
Yeah. So I think apparently they're gonna bid, which is difficult for the BBC. But whereas I mean, lots of the programmes that they have are brilliant. Match of the Day is just great, isn't it? It's fab. And it does what it says on the tin, and they have to. If they hadn't kept that, I mean, it would be good night Vienna, basically from a football point of view.
Yeah.
But they've been very slow to react. But I think the problem is that there's just this massive chain, and they all seem. It's like I have this picture of about 20 blokes sat round a table trying to make a decision.
Right, okay.
And I might be wrong because it might be only 19, but it's like, wow, yeah. I mean, when I finished, is it Tim Davey? I think he's a top man, is he? I think that's his name. And he sent me a really, really nice kind of letter, and I just looked at it and thought, oh, that's quite nice. I'd never spoken to him in my life, and I'm not even sure he wrote it.
Okay,
anyway,
his secretary or something. Those lines.
Or the cleaner, one of the two.
Okay, I mean, do you think the BBC's is it going to have longevity? I find it weird, the funding for the BBC coming from the fact that if you own a television, I've explained that to people like Americans, for example, and they think it's absolutely bonkers. That just because you have a TV, you have to buy a service from this company, whether you use it or not. That seems very strange.
It is strange, isn't it? And I think, look, we're sat here, February, and there's going to be a general election in the next 2 or 3 months. So I wouldn't mind betting that Labour have something to say about it, and basically that it'll be scrapped. And also, I mean, how many people watch terrestrial TV generally now? And I mean, like I have everything in the house, and I almost forget to put terrestrial TV on. Yeah. Unless it's one of those quizzes at 4:00 in the afternoon, which the one where do you know the one I mean on ITV?
I don't think I do.
No, all right, okay. It's like, honestly, you start watching it and you're just thinking, what am I doing? And actually, and the next thing is it's finished. Yeah, there is. And the next thing is that it's finished, and it hooks you in. It's just like, and it's the simplest of things. But I mean, yeah, the whole thing's changed, hasn't it? And now, I mean, if you go to some of the games now and think about sort of 20 years ago, and BBC were just totally in control of everything, weren't they? But it was always going to happen, and Sky have been absolutely brilliant. Apart from what is it, Sky Sport? I call it Sky Sports Rumours, which they managed to get 4 hours of entertainment. Like when the transfer window's on, this fella might go here and this fella might go there, and I go, oh, really good.
Yeah, well, there's a proliferation of that across media. Obviously, Sky doing it, but if you're involved in like YouTube football, even in the slightest, the amount of videos, speculation around all of that is massive.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Okay, so BBC's top of the woke league. How about football in general? Has football gone woke?
No, I don't think it's gone woke. I think VAR's not helped.
Okay.
VAR is another layer of incompetence for me.
Right.
And I don't really understand it. I mean, you know why? First and foremost, if you're going to have it, okay, you're going to have it. And yes, they'll make mistakes because they're human. But if you're going to have it, mic the refs up. So everybody can hear what he's saying. And also mic the refs up, so when the players come across them and are going mad or whatever, and obviously you'd have 2 weeks of that where they get yellow and red cards, and it'd be gone.
Yeah.
And I don't get that. I mean, the Rugby World Cup was sensational, and the information you got was just great, wasn't it? Yeah. The boy's gone and he sat there for 10 minutes in the sin bin or whatever it's called and everything, and then they're actually looking while the game's going on. They're deciding actually, was it a worse foul than we thought? So we're going to send him off. And it was just, they were miles ahead. And it's just a strange thing.
And in a sport with far less money, with far less attention, if rugby can do that, you feel surely the resources and the will is there to do that in football.
Yeah, although the only thing I'll say to that, in terms of the players who play both football and rugby union, we know what sort of schools the footballers went to and what sort of schools the boys from rugby union, as in they weren't going to state schools, too many of them, were they?
Yeah.
But and that's just a worry, and it's just, I don't know, this blue card thing. What on earth is
not
that?
A fan?
The blue rinse. Yeah. Now, well, how are they going to help? How are they going to do that? So you send the guy goes off for 10 minutes, right? So presumably for 2 of those minutes at the end, coming to the end, he's running up and down the touchline all the time, and I just don't. Who makes them up? And the other thing I would say with the thing with VAR is get some ex-managers on it or ex-players.
Okay. Yeah.
And by the way, and I think this is the worst thing, when you play back all the incidents, play them in real time, because you play them in slow motion, they always look far worse. Play them in real time, and you just feel with some of the 50-50s you see that if you played the game at a decent level, you'd have a different opinion.
Yeah,
and everyone is entitled to the opinion. Just get somebody on there with the old managers. If you don't want the ex-players on, I get that, but get the managers on.
Yeah, that makes sense.
With no kind of case to burn or anything, just get them on. Let's see how we do. They can't do any worse. And by the way, 6 minutes. 6 minutes. You could boil 2 eggs in that time, couldn't you? It's bonkers. It's 6 minutes, and everyone's like sat in the seats going, "Oh, well, let's have a chat about today's weather while we're waiting for this to sort."
So you do that as opposed to just scrapping it all together.
Oh, I'd like to scrap it.
You just like,
but I don't think that's happening. But I'd just like an influx of people who have played the game, managed the game, just to see how it can't be any worse, can it? It cannot be any worse. I mean, my missus would do a decent job because it's just like, and I think sometimes as well they look at things too much. Yeah, and it's you can do, and you look at it, and in the end you're thinking, oh my God, what am I actually doing here? So I don't think we can scrap it. I think it's here to stay. But I really seriously think we can make it a lot better.
It's interesting that because everyone seems to want to scrap it, and yet everyone also thinks that we can't. I find that curious, thinking, well, if everyone wants it gone, surely we should just get rid of it.
Yeah.
But there's obviously some people that don't want it gone who are in positions of authority, and that's...
Well, they're probably because they'd lose their job.
Interesting. Yeah, okay. Because if you've made the call to bring it in and then everyone goes, it's gone, well, you're probably gone as well.
Well, I think you're first on the chopping block, aren't you? Anne Boleyn and all that.
Yeah.
Heads will roll.
Yeah. There's I think a lot of people calling for ex-managers, ex-players. I mean, I haven't played football at any level. I play 6-a-side, and I watch some things and go, oh, we didn't mean that. And you think I mean, I know the handball rule is not around deliberate, and that one's painful.
That's like, have you got 4 days? We'll just have a chat about that. That is just ridiculous. That's the worst. Yeah. Actually, that is the worst one.
Yeah.
Because where do you put your arms when you jump?
Yeah.
And it's just... Oh, I just think it's got to be absolutely 100% handball. Otherwise, you just no and get on with it. And you'll win a few and you'll lose a few, but it'll level itself out.
I feel like when I was watching football growing up, that was really simple. It was, is it deliberate?
Yeah.
If it's not, just play on. That's fine.
Well, yeah, there you go. And now we've got all this equipment and we can't make a decision, or we can make loads of wrong decisions.
Yeah. You can see it when they're reviewing the decisions. You can always see it. It's almost like when you overthink a decision in real life, isn't it? That you go back and forth. I'm thinking about this too much. I need to stop.
Shall I marry her or not? Absolutely.
So a couple of months ago, we had Matt Letizia in here.
Okay.
And he told us about his sacking from Sky for saying what were told to be controversial things on social media.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that situation?
Well, I mean,
him?
the other thing is, because I know Phil Tomo as well, because he lost his job, didn't he? And Matt and Charlie Nicholas, and I think they did all three on the same day. Basically, right. Sky. I'm pretty sure Tomo said that they just got a Zoom or something, and like, sorry boys, but no, thank you. Look, you know, your views away from football are your views away from football, and Matt's a bit different, isn't he? He's a bit different than the normal footballer, most definitely. And I don't necessarily agree with some of the things he says, but he's allowed to say them. It's a free world, isn't it? And sometimes you've got to upset people, haven't you? You pick a team of 11 and the other 10 aren't playing, and they want to knock on your door and kill you. But you know, that's just the way of the world, isn't it?
I mean, do you think they were right to get rid of him because of what he'd been saying outside of football?
No, and I think that was a little bit of an excuse as well, because it suited.
Okay. Because
obviously the three of them left, and there was only Merce. It was only Paul Merson left, I think, of the four, if I'm right. I think so. The regular four. Yeah. And Tomo just said it just came from the decision, just came out the blue. He said, I thought I was saying, you know, we're going to sign you for another 2 years. But then, a bit like myself really, is Tomo's older than me.
Right.
Charlie's probably the same age. So it's all the same boat, isn't it?
Okay.
So
the broadcast company's feeling that they want to freshen things up and bring new people in anyway.
I get that. Listen, I absolutely, totally get that. And the only thing I will ever say is, I don't mind who it is, as long as they're good.
Yeah.
And I hate that thing where you look at people and think, can't really do this job, but they're in there for other reasons as well, obviously. So that
tokenism.
That's the worst thing. And the other thing for me is, so you can, as a commentator, rather than obviously someone who just sits down and next to the pundit, as a commentator, as a male, you don't, and I'm pretty sure nobody does, or very few, commentate on the women's game. And yet they can commentate on our game, which is fine, but why can't we commentate on the women's game?
Right.
So that in itself is a way of, hold on a minute, sexism, would you be called it? I don't know, but it's I don't get it. I really don't get it.
And of course you could get in trouble for saying something like that
a
lot of people might seem quite reasonable, a reasonable point to point out, but...
Yeah. Oh, well, I remember at the World Cup in Brazil, when I was co-commentating, and it was late in the game, and I think it was one of the Argentinian games, and it was in the Maracanã, in the big stadium and everything, and nothing had happened in the game. It was really near the end, and I think Switzerland were playing, and the fella broke through, and you think, go on, you're going to score, and he just obviously couldn't make his mind up. And I just said, as you do, I just went, just may as well put a dress on, mightn't he, because he couldn't decide what he wanted to do. Right. So the next day in the hotel, Laura, we need to have a word with you. All right, okay. So, blah, 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 blah. And I said, look, it's just, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it, and all that kind of stuff, right? So, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to do the final now, because he said you're going to do the final. Anyway.
So they said you weren't going to do the final because of that comment that you made?
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, Anyway, then the next morning he said, no, actually. You know what they did, probably? They looked at the reaction and thought, should we stop him, or is it not that bad? And I think I came on the side of, it's not that bad.
Okay.
Right, so in the final, and Germany, wasn't it? And they got a free kick on the edge of the penalty area, and there's about 4 or 5 of the lads looked like they're going to take the free kick. And I went, look at the state of them. I said, look, all dancing around their handbags. Not a word.
Okay.
In the final, so like 20 odd million people watching it. Not anything. Nothing.
What? Why? Why do you think?
I have no idea. I was ready for it, obviously.
Right.
Thinking,
okay. Did you do it on purpose? Did you go?
No. I
just came out.
I think it's a Preston thing. Sometimes I can't control it. I love doing it, but also I have a bit of a laugh, and it's a game, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, although it feels like it sometimes. But nobody said anything.
Okay. I'll get back to my conversation with Mark in a second. Before I do, just want to quickly let you know that if you're a business owner, marketer, entrepreneur, and you're running online ads for your business, or you want to run online ads for your business and you want significantly better results, my company can help you do just that. We create, manage, and optimize online ad campaigns for our clients. If you're interested in finding out more, you can go ahead and click on the link in the video description below. That'll come through to a page on our website where you can book a free call directly into our calendar with one of my team members to find out more how we can help, all that sort of stuff. Hopefully we get a chance to work together. I mean, are you glad that you had, your time in football media when you did?
Oh yeah, 100%.
As opposed to say starting now.
Oh God, I'd have no chance.
Right.
Absolutely. But I think most of the lads wouldn't have any chance. And it's like all the technical terms as well.
Okay.
It's that, just doesn't.
What do you mean by that?
Well, low block.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
And then is it transformation or something like that? Whatever they call it. And it's like, really, you can't alter football. It is what it is, and it is dead simple, isn't it?
There's still 11 blokes on each side of the field.
Yeah, and like jumpers for goalposts. It's that whole whole kind of thing, and. You listen to somebody and they're talking about a low block and it's just like, oh my God, no, please. But maybe that's just because I'm old, obviously, and a bit cantankerous at times. But the game hasn't changed.
Yeah.
It's got better.
Yeah.
Insofar as in many ways, in terms of for players, the way that, they're looked after now, diet, all those kind of things. And people say, would you like to play now? Well, of course you'd like to play now, if you're being honest.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons would be the money, quite honestly. But I don't know if they enjoyed themselves. We had a laugh at Liverpool. I mean, when we won the European Cup in 1984, basically all our away games, we won it because of our away games, because we didn't get beat anyway. In fact, probably beat every team we went away from home. But it'd be like coming back on the aeroplane, be absolutely lashed.
Right.
By the time we got off, and because you'd enjoyed it, and it was part, and the world was different.
Yeah.
And everything, and we were known. We basically just went around Europe getting drunk after playing, and winning, and that's the way that it was. And honestly, that takes him back to the boot room. You know about the famous boot room, Liverpool and everything. And it was like, if you had to go in, it was like, wow, all grown men knocking on the door. Thinking, Christ, what's in it? And like Bob Paisley was there, Joe Fagan, Ronnie Moran, Roy Evans.
Big names.
Big names. You knock on the door and the door wouldn't open. You just hear, what? Like that. You think, oh, shit. Like, put your head around the door. What do you want? And this time it was, we'd been to Melbourne, the training ground, and I'd done some charity things, some pictures and everything, and I'd taken my car. They didn't like it. We all went on a bus to the which was nuts in itself, but it kept everybody together. It was very clever. And I said to Ronnie, look, do you mind if I've just got to do this? So can I take my car? And he just looked at me like I was a piece of S81T, and he went, all right, son. I was 25. Right, okay, great. So when I came back, it was a Thursday. We're playing away on the Saturday, so we're travelling on the Friday. So I've knocked on the door, and obviously, what? So, guys, is it? Do I need to bring my stuff for Saturday? Right, for travelling. And Ronnie Moran would look round and say to Joe, "What do you think, Joe? Think he's playing well enough?" And honestly, they'd have this 5 minutes of whatever, and then they go, right now, fuck off. Right? And you just think, yeah. And everybody thought, this boot room, this mystic boot room, was so not.
Right, okay.
So not, honestly. Okay. But very, very, very clever.
Yeah.
Very clever. I mean, when Joe Fagan got the job, Joe Fagan spoke really, really softly. And you had to almost get right into him to listen to what he used to say. Very, very clever. But he was, when he got the job after Bob Paisley finished, Graham Souness was the captain then, and Graham came in pre-season and said, we need to win every single trophy we can for this fellow, which was unusual. We never normally did that because obviously we expected to win, and they would go, if you won one thing, they'd be delighted. Yeah, and he was such a nice bloke, Joe, and everyone's on, yeah. So we started off the season. I think we had a bit of an iffy patch.
Right.
So Joe came in at half-time and complete silence, obviously. And he just looked around the dressing room and he went, and he pointed at everybody and he went, there's not enough of you doing their job properly. And he walked out. And the thing was with it is that you're thinking, shit, does he mean me?
Right.
So, Dalglish's thinking, shit, does he mean me? So Rushy does, so does Graham, so does Hansen, and everyone's like, wow. And I tell you, what an impact that made. What an impact. And when obviously we won the 3 trophies, didn't we? And with obviously the European Cup, it was just fab. It was just, do you know Joe Fagan, when he was manager, lived 300 yards away from the ground and went home for lunch. He went home for lunch every day. I mean, you can't write it, can you?
That's great.
It's like, the stories out there are just mad. Yeah.
So you got to have fun as a player.
Yeah.
Even like a generation after you listen to stories of like Roy Keane. He would say he was able to do the same, and now it doesn't seem that way. Is that social media? Is it sports scientists telling them they can't do this because it will affect training for the next 2 days?
Yeah, and I think they can test you they can breathalyze you now without you kind of knowing you're actually being breathalyzed. It's
really?
It's some weird thing. One particular test which is involved in other tests.
Oh, okay.
I think Pochettino was one of the first to do that.
Is that blood or urine or something? Like
I presume one of the two. I can't think of it.
Maybe they're
else.
doing like a lung capacity test, and it's also got that in it.
Yeah,
okay.
And where the players were just bizarre. They go, all right. They go, come in the boot, not the boot room, the thingy room, and everything, and they'd know if you'd been on the PISS and stuff. The other thing as well is that now with the way that it is that the doc can test them on a Friday. So say you're playing on a Saturday. So the doc would be in the training ground and it'd test your blood levels. Okay. And it was something to do with red blood cells and white blood cells. But very cleverly, he could say, so he'd go in the manager's office with the player and go, Salah's got his red blood things are high. So you probably need to leave him out.
Right, okay.
Which is really clever. So it basically stopped Klopp having a row with Salah.
Right.
You got to follow the.
Oh, I see. Yeah, okay. You can use that
Yeah,
instead of I'm not
yeah.
dropping you. It's,
Yeah, exactly,
It's
that
for
was
your
it.
own good. The tests come back.
And then if you got so you're playing on a Saturday and maybe you've got a game on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Klopp can go, but you'll be playing on Wednesday. The row's gone, innit?
Yeah,
It's just it is clever.
a tool for managing the bigger squads as well. They get.
Well, of course. Yeah.
So you alluded to it then. Obviously, the pay when you were a player is a lot less than it is now. Is that painful?
Nah.
No.
You can only be a person of your time, can't you? But I tell you what, the best thing that happened to us was when Maggie got in, Maggie Thatcher.
Okay.
Because it went from at one stage we were paying 83 pence in the pound.
In tax.
83 pence.
Wow.
So you got 17p out of every quid you earned. God almighty, can you imagine?
Yeah.
And there was a massive roar in the dressing room when she announced it, and the boys going, go on, and it went down to 60, which we thought was great, obviously, from 83.
Yeah.
But the other thing about that, the side was that obviously we were earning really good money and we were winning stuff. So it's kind of softened the blow a little bit, but yeah. They're only 83. Oh yeah, 83 pence in the pound. Yeah. And of course, some of the lads being stupid footballers didn't even know. They didn't look at the pay slip or anything.
Yeah.
Then about 3 weeks later, think, I've not got very much money left.
They think they're earning X. They've gone and spent it,
Absolutely,
and they're like, "Well, hang on."
We're all stupid footballers, aren't we?
Only got 17% of that. Hey, does it surprise you? We hear so many stories now of footballers going bankrupt, having financial difficulties. I've spoken to a number that have, when they are earning such money now.
Yeah, I think, and the other thing is the guys that get divorced between, I think it's 35 to 40, is the percentage is staggering.
Okay.
Absolutely staggering.
Ex-players, you mean?
Yeah.
Because I guess they've stopped playing and they're lost in that window.
Yeah, and then maybe they go off the rails a little bit, go on the sauce and stuff, and what am I going to do? And because you have to remember that basically you were like a sheep.
Right. Just follow what you're told.
Yeah. Which is, if you've got a group of fellas, you've got to kind of do it that way, haven't you? But you seriously were, and they wouldn't even know about the pensions and everything. They wouldn't. They'd have a pension, but they wouldn't kind of ring up the guy who's in charge of it every other month and say, how we doing, and is it going up, is it going down, and but yeah, it was a strange thing. Yeah,
we had spoke to Danny Murphy yesterday here, and he's telling us that exact story, that he went through exactly what you described, that post-playing difficult time, and drink, cocaine, and marriage ended, and a hard thing to deal with.
Well, you don't, because there aren't too many. You don't have to plan for your future now, because it's just amazing, the money, isn't it? But when the Premier League started, 92, I think, wasn't it? And that was different, because obviously clubs were getting more money, players were getting more money, and that's. But in saying that, there's been some really clever ones as well. But maybe not as many who's obviously got divorced and gone on a lash.
Do you remember when you were playing what your highest paycheck was?
I can remember for the season, because we won. Joe Fagan went, so we won the league. Not the FA Cup, the League Cup and European Cup, and I think that year I got paid 110 grand.
The whole year?
Yeah, so it was 1984.
So in footballer terms, because it's all quoted in weekly, you're talking £2,000 a week.
2.5 a week, probably, isn't it? 2.5.
Just slightly less than that. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Don't know where it's gone. I just and people seem to think that because I remember we got the bonuses for winning the league, £5,000 for winning the league, £5,000 for winning League Cup, £5,000 for winning European Cup. Which, if you think about that, is nuts, because the European Cup should have been there off the scale.
Yeah.
But it was almost like, and I'm pretty sure that the club made the decision after we'd won all three, so it wasn't anything written in our contracts.
Okay.
But then you went in the office, if they called you in, Peter Robinson, the old secretary who's gone now, God love the rest of his soul, he basically ran Liverpool, and he'd say, right, need you to sign a new contract, and this is it. There'd be a bit of like toing and froing, but you'd be done in half an hour.
Wow.
No agents.
I think no big standoffs.
No big standoffs. I know that Kenny was a difficult one.
Right.
Like Scottish, isn't he? So what do you expect? Every pound's a prisoner. But they just got called in. And I in talking about the money, Rushy signed for Juventus.
Okay.
And the deal was, we just won the European Cup. And the deal was that he was going to sign for Juventus, loan back to Liverpool. Okay, and I was 18 months into my 4-year contract, and I got called up into the office to see Peter Robinson. I thought, this is strange. I go, and he said, Mark, we're going to give you a new contract. And I didn't, because obviously you trust everybody as well. And you think, oh, fab. And we agreed the money probably in half an hour.
Right.
Obviously completely different, more money and all that kind of stuff. You're thinking, great.
Yeah.
And then I remember we were halfway through the season, and there was a guy at Liverpool called Tom Saunders he'd go and watch European opposition and go to the hotel, have a look, check all those kind of things. But he was all seeing it, and he was a really bright, intelligent man. And we're on a flight, and he used to sit next to me for some reason. We used to have a good chat and stuff. And I'll tell you where we were. It was end of season. We were going to Bangkok for a friendly. Crikey, just what you need, right? And we went, and that's right. We were in a storm. And he grabbed hold of my arm, sat next to me, and like, I don't mind flying, but I'm thinking this isn't good.
Yeah,
and
he's
gone white, and of course, like we get through this storm, have another drink, and he said they wanted you, And I said, what do you mean, Tom? He said, where Russia's gone? They wanted you.
Wow.
And I went, all right. He said, would you have gone? And I said, yeah, because I did my languages at school, and I loved all that, and got my A levels with them all and stuff. And I went, yeah. And then I thought, shit, no wonder he wanted me to sign a new contract after a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, because I didn't have an agent or anything.
Yeah.
And Tom Saunders wasn't the kind of person who, he was just very, very straight and everything. They wanted it, and I went...
And that was at Juventus? Wow. With the... And so then, obviously, you think of Serie A. Was that in its heyday? Was that a little bit before?
It was getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was getting there. And it was big money. Well, Juventus were the car company, weren't they?
Right, okay.
Agnelli.
Right.
So, it was big money. Rushy, when Rushy signed, they said to him, towards the end of the season, although he still played for Liverpool, would he come and go to one of the games and meet some of the fans and everything? So he said, yeah. So they sent a plane for him, PJ as he called now, innit? And he had an agent. I do remember it. So he said, me and the agents are sat on the plane, and he said the two guys from Juventus are kind of sat there and everything. And Rushy said to the agent, he said, I'm a little bit nervous. He said, and the deal was that he'd been learning Italian. And he used to get changed between me and Hansen, so like we're slaughtering him, aren't we? Come on, say some Italian all that kind of... Right, you can imagine, can't you? And so he said to the agent, I wonder if we can have a beer. Do you think they mind? Right. So the agent went up to the two guys and said, look, he's not playing or anything. They said, yeah, of course. So apparently one went to 2, quickly went to 6. So when they got to Turin, right, one of the Juventus officials said, Ian, he said, what we're going to do, he said, open the door, the ladders will come down. He said, we're letting all the people onto the concourse, all the supporters, about 2,000. He said, we'd just like you to say something to them. He went, yeah, no problem. So we land, doors open, wheels come down, all this 2,000, they land, all these 2,000 people come, and he stood there and he put his arm up like that and went, welcome. Brilliant. To be fair to him, he told the story on himself as well, because he could have kept that quiet and got away with it. He went, welcome. How's your Italian?
Yeah, not this flowing Italian speech
no,
that they were
exactly,
hoping for.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, that's a great story.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the ones you can tell.
Right, okay. And there are many that you can't.
Oh, yes. Plenty.
Okay. Obviously had a lot of success in your career. Do you think you were underrated? Do you think people appreciated how good you were?
I think so. I mean, where I was lucky was that they thought at Liverpool I could play many different positions, which I did. I played in 6 different positions, but I knew that their idea was I was going to play with Hansen eventually, because Tomo was coming to the end. And I think that was really lucky with me, because I was at Brighton, I had a 10-year contract.
Wow.
10-year meal and lad called...
That makes what Chelsea are doing.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Trendsetters, us, don't worry about that. Me and Peter Ward, who was the goal scorer at Brighton, scored a lot of goals. Yeah. He went to Notts Forest, I think. So I had a 10-year contract. But the deal was kind of, the chairman said, like, look, you won't do all the 10 years. We're just kind of protecting ourselves. Okay. So with the fee. Yeah. And obviously my money was good and everything. And Brighton was fab. I absolutely loved it. And so season finished, and we were just before pre-season, and I got a phone call from who's the manager of Arsenal, Terry. Anyway, I can't remember his surname. And he rung up and he said, can we come and speak to you about selling you? And I went, I don't know. I said, I've been told unofficially that, I'm going to be sold, but do I need to ring the club? He said, no, we've spoken to the club. And he said, we'll come down and meet you at Gatwick. Obviously, he's in London, I'm in Brighton. So get down to Gatwick, Terry and the chief exec. Terry offered me less money than I was getting at Brighton.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, I'm looking for someone to come out from behind the curtains and joking.
Yeah. And you've got a 10-year contract as well.
Well, that's the thing. I said, Terry got a 10-year contract. Yeah. And he went, yeah. He said, you played at Highbury, haven't you? And I went, yeah, a few times. He said, and you've seen the bust of Herbert Chapman as you walk in, famous bust of Herbert. And I went, yeah. And he said, and the Marble Hall. Yes, Terry, seen all that. And he said, and also, of course, he said, if you have played there and you'd like the underfloor heating in the dressing rooms. I went, yeah, I've experienced that, Terry. He went, well, you've got all that. He said, and I want you to play with David O'Leary. I went, I don't mind the first 4, but I'm not too happy with the 5th one. Right, and he didn't really get that at all. And because me and O'Leary played together for Ireland with Dave and everything. And I said, Terry, you've not offered me any money. I'm like, I may as well stick at Brighton. Yeah. He said, I'll tell you what we'll do. He said, we'll go away and think about it. I went, all right. So next morning, the phone goes again. And it was Ron Atkinson, who'd just taken over at Man U. And I'd known him for quite a bit, actually. He said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I've just spoken to Arsenal. I said, I ain't going to Arsenal. And he went, I suppose Liverpool have been in, have you? I said, no, not yet. He said, well, I'll tell you what. He said, they were signing Frank Stapleton, first tribunal signing, and they weren't quite sure how much it was going to cost them. Okay. He said, and he told me that. He was really dead up front. And he said, and Brighton wants some of our players. He said, I think pretty sure we can organise that. He said, I'll give you more money than anybody will give you, and I'll buy you a house and all that kind of stuff. And it just went quiet. And he said, what do you think? I said, oh, I'm not sure. I said, because as I'm talking to him, my missus at the time just handed me this piece of paper as I was talking to him on the phone. And it was like, Liverpool calling you. And I went, and he went, someone else is in, aren't they? And I went, yeah. And he said, who is it? Because he loved Liverpool. He loved Liverpool. Right. He said, who is it? And I went, who do you think? He went, oh, shit. And I said, yeah, I'm gonna speak to them tomorrow. And he went, I don't blame you, mate. He said, I've got to sort this all out here, so it's gonna take a while. So, and I met Liverpool next day, and I think the conversation was 7 minutes, and I signed.
Wow,
it was I just knew.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit fortunate. My stepfather was a director at Preston North End where I started, so he knew a little bit about what happens and all that, and he came with me and everything. Right. And as they're saying to me, you're going to earn this, 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 and this, I could see my stepfather going, sorry. And I went, yeah. And I was, but the really funny bit was, well, not the really funny, but a couple of things were that I didn't have a proper medical until 3 months into the season. They paid 900 grand plus VAT, so I was over $1 million.
You're right.
They didn't, and they just, all they did, on the night I got to Anfield, got in the treatment room, got stripped off, boxers on, and they had two doctors, brothers from Ireland, great. One of them would suck the poison out of your blood. The other one was hopeless. And if you had a cut head in the game at home, right, and the one who wasn't good would always be the one who had to like sew you up, and you go, like, oh no, of all the people. Anyway, so anyway, he was testing all my joints. And it was really late at night, like 11 o'clock. Bob Paisley there, and he was probably nearly 60 then. You could tell he wanted to go home to bed. Right, and he came in and said to the doc, what are you doing? Right, over £1 million, don't forget. What are you doing? He said, Bob, you paid a lot of money for this lad. We need to kind of sort of. He went, no, it'll be all right. That's what he said. No, it'll be all right. But that's what they did. You had a medical about 3 months later. You could have been crippled by then, right in the team. Right. So I went to the hotel, and Bob said to me, he said, I'll pick you up in the morning. And he said, we'll go to the ground and I'll show you around, sign your contract. I went, okay, great. So I'm going back home. Preston's 30 miles away where I was born and everything. So obviously, stepfather's loving it, my mum, my dad, sisters and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I never slept, really excited. Got up in the morning, put my suit on and everything. And the concierge just rang me in my room and said, oh, Mr. Paisley's waiting for you outside. Came out. And as I came out, I just saw this gold Granada. Remember Ford Granadas? You're probably too young. It was like a pimp car, honestly, right?
I can imagine the sort of thing.
You can, right? And he parked it right outside because he's the manager of Liverpool. They just won the European Cup against Madrid in Paris. And I'm thinking, all right, it's a bit garish, isn't it, at the car? And when he started to step out of the car, I saw a pair of slippers. Then the next thing was a cardigan. And then I saw Bob, right? But as I saw Bob and thought, oh, there's the manager, I looked at his cardigan and he had egg on the front of it. So he just had his breakfast. And I just thought to myself, this is the club for me. Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
And I was absolutely right as well, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Any regrets from your career?
Regrets? Getting injured was sort of snapped my Achilles and I came back and played, I couldn't run. So that was, I don't know if it's a regret, that's just the way that it was. But in all honesty, when I played for Preston, I followed my dad. My dad played. And that's all I'd ever wanted to do. I had a season ticket and everything. And one of the best, people send you loads of pictures and of course you keep them all and near you are to die and you look at them every day. No, not really. Every other day. The best picture I've got is not me. It's a picture of my dad making his debut for Preston North End in the top division against Tottenham. And my dad's on it, and on one side is Sir Ralph Ramsey.
Right.
And on the other side is Sir Tom Finney.
And what year would that have been?
Oh, my God, that'll be late 50s.
Right, okay.
Late 50s, yeah.
Wow.
So that, of all the pictures that I've got, of all winning the cups and all those kind of things and stuff, that is the best one.
Yeah.
Because Sir Tom Finney, I think it's his birthday tomorrow, I think. He's God.
Right.
He's God, and you just speak to people like Jimmy Armfield and that and just say, wow, if Tom Finney playing today, he'd be the best player in the world.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is some accolade.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you finish your playing career and then what comes next? How does it work? Obviously you end up doing a lot of media work, but was that planned at all?
No. And I think me and Hansen both actually agreed after a while that the reason we got the jobs were, because you play for Liverpool to a certain extent, but generally we did loads of interviews.
Okay.
After games,
Comfortable
before
games,
and they just went, they're all right. So that's probably how we got that. But I didn't get. I went to the day I packed in. The next day I was manager of Oxford.
Okay.
So they were in Div 1. They were in the top division. I was the youngest manager ever in the division.
Wow.
The only problem was Mr. Maxwell. Would you know Robert Maxwell?
No.
Oh, right. That's amazing. Well, he owned the Sunday People, the People at the Mirror and the Sunday Mirror.
Okay.
And he basically nicked all the pensions at the Mirror. Nicked all the pensions.
Wow.
And he was, shall we say, I know he was pushed off a boat.
Right.
Yeah, because he wasn't paying a certain country called
Right.
Israel the money that he borrowed off them.
Wow.
And I won't
Okay.
get into trouble on that because he's dead. But
Okay.
so anyway, I got a job at Oxford, and the chairman was Kevin, his son, who was same age as me, 29. And Kevin just went, look, you get on with it. If you need me, call me. They were always in London. Kevin hardly came to any games. His dad obviously said, look, you'd go and look after Oxford, and so we had 8 games to go, end of the season. We were down at the bottom. That's the reason I got the job.
Okay.
We got relegated. But we had Dean Saunders. Do you know Dean Saunders? No. Played for Liverpool, centre forward, scored a load of goals, played for Derby. Anyway, and he was the best player at Oxford. And I got him to sign a new contract. And I said, look, 1 year in the second division. And I said, if we don't get promoted, you go. Because my phone never stopped ringing. Would you sell him? Would you sell him? All that kind of stuff and everything. So it's October, and I think we're about 4th or 5th in the league. We were doing all right. Dean was scoring and everything, and the chairman rang me about 11 o'clock, playing Blackburn at 3 o'clock at home. He says Dean Saunders is going to go and speak to Derby. His dad owned Derby. His dad owned 2 football clubs, basically, Oxford United and Derby.
Wow.
You can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And his dad...
Not in the same country, at least.
Yeah. and I thought, oh, shit. So, okay. And I said, Kevin, but, you promised me I can keep him to the end of the season. He just went, oh, for fuck's sake. He said, it's my dad. He said, I can't do anything else about it. He said, and you can't play him today. And I thought, fuck you, right? So played him against Blackburn, and he scored. And he'd been tapped up.
Yeah.
But, such is life. It happens to everybody.
Yeah.
And I got him in after the match, and I said, look, and I said, I'm not arsed. I said, I know you've been tapped up. I really don't have a problem with it. And he said to me, all right, thanks. He said, what shall I ask for? And I said, think of a number and double it.
Yeah, okay.
And he went, really? I said, yeah. I said, because you're not going to go to Derby County and get sent back because you've asked for too much money. I said, and I used to call him the big fat bastard, Maxwell. I said, the big fat bastard, he said, he will give you whatever you want. And I said, when he asks for a car, ask for a Mercedes, not a Ford.
Yeah.
He only got a Ford, apparently. He tells a joke about that. And he was gone. And so I'm then obviously thinking, crikey. So Kevin Maxwell, who was my chairman, rang me quite late at night on a Saturday, and I'd had a few kind of, and he said, how are you? And well, I just came out with this tirade of whatever, effing and jeffing. And he said, I tell you what, he said, my dad's in tomorrow. He said, come and have a chat with him. And I said, Kevin, he's just nicked our best player. Come and have a chat with him. So I go to Fleet Street, and his dad's in Paris, but he's coming over in the helicopter, and that really pissed me off because I'm thinking, big fat bastard, like he's coming over in this helicopter, and I'm sat in this room with the secretary of Oxford, Jim Hunt, really nice old man, been there a long time, but a really nice bloke. I don't think he ever swore in his life, which is, if you can't work at a football club if you're not, don't swear. and we travelled up. In fact, he drove me. And he went, now, he said, Mark, he said, when you go in, he said, just count to 10. Just count to 10.
Just calm down a little.
Calm down a little bit. So we're in the penthouse of the building, waiting for the fat bastard to come in, right? And we hear the helicopter and everything. And I'm just looking at this table in the middle of the room. And it was like, it had writing on it all over it. And it was obviously really expensive, and it was all in Chinese and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, what would be really good would if he comes in and sits on that and goes right through the middle of it. And he sat on it and it bowed like that. And I'm thinking, come on, there must be a God. And there wasn't. So he said to me, and whenever I'd had a couple of dealings with him when Kevin wasn't around, and he wouldn't, when he'd ring him, I'd go, Mr. Maxwell, Mark Lawrenson. And he went, yeah. He wouldn't say, how are you, kiss my backside or anything, just yet, because obviously people rang him because they wanted money or a deal and all those different things and stuff like that. Anyway, he sat there and he looked at me and he said, I really like you and what you've been doing at the club. He said, but you know, at the end of the day, and I said, what? He said, it's got fuck all to do with you. And I'm like, that's it. Anyway, so I actually got sacked for threatening to resign. Which was great for me because it meant I got 30 grand tax free.
Right, okay.
Although he kept me waiting for 9 months because he bought the bloody a New York paper, didn't he? And he went out and he lived on the Lady Ghislaine boat. You know Ghislaine?
Right, yeah.
Who's obviously in prison. Yeah, I went out for lunch with her once as well, by the way. Lady Ghislaine. She wasn't. She just Ghislaine. Stunning, by the way. Stunning. Okay. And sorry, I digress.
Sure.
Yeah. And he went over there, lived on the boat right by in Manhattan and all that kind of stuff. And he didn't pay me for 9 months, so I've been offered a few jobs and I didn't take them because I just thought, you know what, I'm going to get me 30 grand off him tax free, and I got it. Then I went to Peterborough. Am I going on too long here?
No.
Then I went to Peterborough,
go for it.
and one of the directors at Oxford he bought Peterborough. So he said, Mark, come and manage the team. And I went, Irish. So he gave me the old, obviously, come on, 2 Irishmen together and all that, even though I was born in Preston. and I went, I'm not sure, John. I said, I'm really not sure. He said, come on, and I'll back you and we'll give you a little bit of a chance. And we were doing great. We were fifth in the league. And we had a decent team, hardly conceded any goals, got a good goal scorer, and I thought, we've got a chance here, and I was under budget and everything, waiting for the January transfer window, so I might get a couple in and stuff like that. Anyway, it was either a Black Monday, Wednesday or Friday, one of the three,
right,
where everything went tits up. And he was a builder, and he was building homes in Weston-super-Mare, flats and houses. And he rang me and he said, we need to have a chat. And I said, well, we're going all right. and I'd signed 4 really experienced players, and my deal with them, they didn't have to train every day, but they were like good pros. And I just said, look, if you're in the team every week, I'm going to double your wages, because I just needed the experience. I said, but if you pace me about, you're on half the money and all that, and they were fab. And he went, so those 4 lads, this was like Thursday morning, can't play on Saturday. I said, John, what do you mean? He said, they can't play, they're costing me too much money. I said, yeah, but this is a completely separate entity, the football club. He said, no, I'm losing money hand over fist at Weston-super-Mare. Play the kids. Well, we didn't have any kids, like we're kind of 3rd division and stuff.
So would you not have had to pay those players if they didn't play that week?
No, the deal was, in the team probably was about 500 quid.
Right.
Out the team, 250.
Gotcha, okay.
So, and they knew, and they were great. They were good pros, really good pros. They were coming to the end, obviously, but they could still at that division do a good job. Yeah. And so, no, I didn't have to. And he just went, they can't play. And I went, you know what, John, I can't manage. And I walked away. He was a good friend of ours. It was funny. But, that was me, second in terms of management, which was fun. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. The daft thing about it, I was young enough to play, but obviously I couldn't.
Because of the injury, yeah.
Because I'd taken the insurance money, yeah. Right. So, yeah, good times.
Interesting on that point, you're saying taking the insurance money. So was that a decision at one stage to take that money or to try?
Well, I couldn't play.
Again? And you knew you couldn't?
Absolutely. Well, I went to Lillishall, and I was tested for 2 days, along with Jim Beglin, who played for Liverpool, and Kevin, can't remember his surname. They both broke their legs badly, especially Jim. And obviously I had the Achilles. And this guy in Oswestry taught people to walk again. Car accidents and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, he got me in. And he said, right, and he looked at my Achilles, and it was twice the size of, my right one was twice the size of my left one. And he said, right, I'm going to do a series of exercises with you for 24 hours. So I'll see you tomorrow and give you the good or bad news, which I thought, that's fine. Did all the exercises and everything, sat me down. First words he said to me were, are you insured?
Really?
And I said, yeah. And I said, I'll tell you something, I was the first and only person ever to be insured by Liverpool. Really? Because in my last contract, when we were talking to Peter Robinson, he said, anything else? I said, yeah, what if, I'd done 6 years, I think. What if I get injured and I can't play? He said, you'll get a month's pay for every year you've done. So you get 6 months pay. Yeah. And I went, can't insure myself? And he said, Mark, we've never insured anybody before. There's a lad called Jerry Byrne who played in the cup final, had to stay on because he didn't have subs and everything. But he was the only one I think they were thinking about maybe doing a deal with him, but it didn't happen. He said, so you're the first person. I said, well, Peter, I want to be insured. So that was a bit of a lucky break in many ways. And the guy just said, yeah, you're knacked. And he just said, look, he said, you won't be able to play at the level you can play. He said, but you might be able to play a couple of divisions down. I'm thinking, I don't really fancy that. I've done that at Preston. Yeah. He said, but the other thing is, he said, your right Achilles will probably be all right. He said, but you'll snap your left one. Oh, wow. Because that thing where you don't know you're doing it, but you protect it.
Yeah, you compensate.
And he said, then you overcompensate. And he said, you'll be back in the end. I said, I've seen enough if you don't want to come back. Yeah. So it was like Thursday morning I go into Anfield because I'm still a player. Yeah. Go and see Kenny. He's a manager, and I said, I'm done. So what do you mean? I said, I'm knackered. I can't, Wow. And my last game that obviously made my mind up. We played Arsenal at home, and I was out on the right side, on the right wing. God knows why. And the ball came to me, and I was struggling. I was struck, not mentally or any of that stuff. I was just struggling, because I had no pace anymore. And it came to me, and I just booted it.
Right. Okay.
I just booted it into the cop, and everyone's gone, what's he doing? Yeah. And I walked off, and that was me.
Wow. Do you remember what the insurance payout was?
My insurance payout was about 140 grand. Okay. And then you get some money. I got 25 grand from the PFA, tax free, which softens a blow. Yeah. Obviously,
would have been the equivalent of a couple of years playing, I guess, if you include the tax freeness.
Well, the tax free definitely. Well, so you're talking nearly 200 grand, aren't you? Yeah. tax-free would have been not easy to earn.
So you have that stint of management, and then from there you go into media stuff, is it? Or how does that work?
Just started doing it. The BBC Radio rang me up and just said, do you fancy co-commentating? And I went, yeah, I'm not kind of doing anything else. So I started that, and then did obviously loads of commentaries and one or two other things and stuff. And the head of sport at BBC, Niall Sloan, they did a game at... by the way, I was coaching at... forgot about that. I was coaching at Newcastle with Kevin Keegan.
Okay.
Terry McDermott. I was defensive coach, the first one ever. I did 2 sessions ever. And the first one was when Kevin left.
Right.
Yeah. For various reasons, not all good, but... and we played Charlton at home, and Kenny had just got the job. Had just got the Newcastle job after Kevin. And I'm just in the tunnel, waiting for the game, and the head of BBC Sport, Niall, just came up to me and started chatting. And he said, how you doing? I said, oh, I'm good, Niall. I said, look, I love doing this. No real pressure and all that. And he went, why don't you come and join your mate? And I went, Hansen? He went, yeah. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, no, just come on Match of the Day. And I said, all right, well, let me think about it, and I need to speak to Kenny. So I thought about it for a day, went in, obviously next day we're all in training, and I knocked on the door, and I said to him, I want to go and do Match of the Day. And he went, typical Kenny, he just went, only if you never slaughter us. And I went, all right, fair enough. And I just went and I signed for Match of the Day, which is good. And Trevor was there then. It was me, Trevor, and Hansen, the 3.
Did you keep up that end of the bargain, or did you slaughter them?
No, I didn't slaughter them. Got Al to slaughter them, not me. Yeah.
Do you miss Match of the Day? You want it for a long time.
No, not anymore.
Okay,
not anymore. I mean, great programme, but I mean, for years, the amount of people who thought that, the commentaries were done after the match, honestly, it's staggering. Okay. It's staggering because the commentaries are all live, and it's and they never, and that Match of the Day was live, and because it came on at 10:30, they're thinking, oh, they've recorded this, they're having a couple of pints down the road, but it and you know what, it's so better. It was so better when it was live, when the red light comes on. It's just better. And I remember my first one, I was talking like a dolphin. That's what I can remember. And I think somebody posted
That's a great
whatever.
phrase.
Yeah, I was like, the highest thing it could ever get. I mean, it's high as it is. And I was like, what's a dolphin doing on Match of the Day? But yeah, no, I loved it. And of course, it's the next best thing, isn't it? And you can't really get sacked. You can't really, although, to be fair to Schmeichel came eventually, and the only problem for the big man was that he was kind of translating it in his head from Danish into English, and it was a bit slow, and I think it was just... He'd probably be fine now, because his English is that much better. But Niall Sloan was a massive Man U fan, so he's like, it'll be 2 Liverpool and one Man U, but it didn't last long.
Well, it's tough enough doing live stuff in your native language, let alone trying to do it in another language.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you still watch Match of the Day? You enjoy it as a programme?
Yeah, well, the thing is now, you can watch it any time, can't you?
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yep.
But if I'm at home, I'll watch it on a Saturday. And if I miss it, I'll watch it on the Sunday morning. It's just a iconic programme. I mean, I think they've got the rights for the next 4 years as well, which is great for them. But and it's just good fun, all the commentators and in many, many ways, it's a little bit of a substitution.
For the game, you mean?
Yeah, just watching all the games and all that. And
well, you can never,
stuff.
I mean, vast majority of people can never come close to watching all the games, but you can, in a reasonable amount of time, you can get a really good idea of what's happened with all the games.
So you could have 6 games on.
Yeah.
So, and you'd be in there and the boss would go, right, you do this match and you do that match. And then you kind of all get together for the other 4. Yeah. And people would point out different things. It was just a good gig. I mean, getting paid to watch footy, sat there eating crisps and chocolate, and everything.
That's a good gig.
Yeah, very good gig.
It's got heritage as well, that program.
Yeah.
Like, I watched it with my dad. And
Yeah.
I've got a little boy who's nearly 3, and like he doesn't care yet. But like, I stick it on. Do you know? Well, in the morning.
I'll tell you,
he's asleep in the evening, but
yeah.
then you watch it. And,
I mean, when I'd signed for Liverpool, I hadn't been there that long, and we played Arsenal away, and me and Hansen had a decent game, and we were coming out with the ball and all that kind of stuff. And Jimmy Hill was on then. Good old Jimmy. He did have a viewpoint, and he did match of the day. And I think we won 2-0 or something. And he'd gone, yeah. He said, but the thing was, he said, look, the 2 centre backs. He said they both like kept coming out with the ball into midfield and all that kind of stuff. And he was more me than Al, right? And I didn't really think anything about it until I watched match of the day that night. And of course, I'm on and all that. And my mum's gone, what have you? Anyway, Monday morning, I get into Melwood, to the training ground, and Bob sidles over to me. And he was master of the unfinished sentence.
right,
Bob, seriously. And he just cut his sentence off, and you think, what the hell's he just said to me? But he said, were you in on Saturday night? I'm thinking, oh, this is a test. Does he think I've been on the lash?
right.
And I said, no, I was in. Because we got back late from Arsenal anyway. No, I was in, boss. Did you watch Match of the Day? And I said, yeah. And he went, so did everybody else. And I'm thinking, and then I realised he meant, because I come out and done a couple of tricks, and what he meant to say was, everybody else has seen you do that now. All the other teams have seen you do that now.
Right.
But he just went, so did everybody else.
Okay.
He didn't explain it, but you kind of,
Yeah.
you worked it out. He was just very clever like that.
Is that in a sense of like, so don't do it again?
No, so don't do it
watch
again.
out?
Just be aware that next time they'll be ready for you.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
you know, when you feint to go right on left or
They know
whatever,
what you're
they'll be there and nicking the ball off you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and if he didn't speak to you, he was fine.
Right. Okay.
It was like your granddad in charge of the team.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as we're recording this, Jürgen Klopp has said that he's going to leave at the end of the season,
Mm-hmm.
but doesn't yet have a replacement in place. I mean, what do you think his legacy at Liverpool will be?
He'll get a statue.
You think so?
Now, oh yeah, 100%. Listen, from the first day, he absolutely totally got it. He got the football club, he got the place, he got absolutely everything about it, and he understood about obviously Heysel and Hillsborough and all those kind of things. And he's been magnificent. He really, really seriously has. And 9 years ago, if he said he was going to win, well, he won every competition, hasn't he? And some of them he's won more than once.
Yeah.
And the best thing I remember Emil Heskey, he got transferred from Liverpool. I don't know where he went to, but he'd obviously, Jurgen had him and said, well, he's kind of not my style, and we'll sell him on. And Emil Heskey wrote this thing in the weekend newspaper. Somebody said, what's he like? What's the new manager like? He said, he's your pal. He said, but he's not your best pal.
Okay.
Which I thought was really
interesting
clever
turn of
thing
phrase.
to say. So
Yeah,
but you just go so far you don't kind of cross over.
Yeah.
Which I think sums him up.
Yeah.
But I mean, I go to the AXA training ground sometimes and do some stuff for LFC TV. And he talks to everybody and anybody. And they're all the same. It could be Salah or the cleaner or the postman. He's just the same. And he's having a house built. I sort of outed him with this not long ago. He's having a house built in Mallorca, not too far from where we've got one. Although in comparison, ours is a telephone box. But early in the season, do you remember when Nunes scored 2 late goals against Newcastle?
Yes.
And we were
down to 10 men.
Yeah, 10 men and everything and all that kind of stuff. And so we interviewed him after the match. And he literally couldn't get his words out because he was just saying, I have never experienced anything like that. For all those things to happen. And he's just such a shrewdy. Anyway, so he's all happy and stuff like that. So we finished and he shook hands. And I said, how's the house? And he looked at me and he went, oh yeah, you've got one. And I said, yeah, mine's a bit further away. And he said, it's costing me a fortune. He's only on 12 million quid a year. So it's costing me a fortune. So
Plus endorsements and things like that.
Every time my missus goes over, he says, look, it's even more money. So he'll be there in the summer, I would think. That's where he'll probably go.
Yeah.
But
why not? Perfect.
He'll get
a well-deserved rest. And what a better place. Go get a bit of sunshine. And
he will get a statue. He absolutely, totally. And I hope it's sooner rather than later. I hope it's not one when he's like 6 foot under. They've got to do it straight away.
Do you think he'll go on to another job at some point, or do you think he'll be done?
I think it'll be at least a year before. And everyone says national team. I'm not sure. Maybe he might do the German national team if they've got a really good team. Yeah. Because they haven't of late had a good team. I mean, he's not stupid.
Yeah.
So, no, I think he's just going to enjoy his life. And I think, his wife, Ula, is very much, she makes a lot of decisions and stuff. But, and I think also one of the reasons is that I think that most of the family have now gone back from Formby to Germany, and I think she spends quite a bit of time on her own, so that makes the decision.
He seems like that sort of guy that you've described, where that's going to matter. I imagine with some people that might not be the biggest consideration. No,
I think he did.
But with him, it would be.
I think he did the deal with her, and she said okay, because his last contract, she said yes. So I think then she said, but that might be it. Yeah. And to be fair, isn't it? But I mean, 9 years.
Yeah.
So I think it seemed, I'm only slightly guessing that she's probably been rattling around the house while he's been, wherever he's been.
Are Liverpool screwed without him? Is it going to be a rough time?
No, I think the next couple of years will be tough. You can see his salary will go, won't he? I think they might get 150 million from him, buy a couple of players, which obviously will help.
Even at his age, you think he's still...
I think the Saudis will,
Right.
I was going to say, snap his hand off. It's probably the wrong thing to say.
Yes, you might be right there.
Keep that in. So, he's Egyptian.
Yeah.
So he's king, isn't he? He's king. So I think, and in fairness, I think he could have probably gone last summer. Yeah. So I think he'll definitely go, and it'll probably be the right time, won't it? As for the new manager, obviously they're going, and everyone thinks Alonso.
Would he be your choice, or would you go with someone else?
You know who I would get, but I don't think they'd get him because I just think he reminds me of Jürgen Klopp. He's Postecoglou. I just think he's just like him, and you can see his players play for him, and I think they respect him. Yeah, he takes no shit.
He's done an amazing job so far.
He's done fab. I mean, about a week before the season started, they sell Kane. Yeah. And he didn't. He went, got to get on with it. Got to get on with it. What am I going to do? Yeah. And I love his press conferences as well. And he's wherever he's better and better and better, hasn't he? I don't suppose for a minute Tottenham would let him go, and he's a Liverpool fan. Yeah, he was outed, wasn't he? He is a Liverpool fan. So hey,
I've heard some people almost advocating for like a planned sacrificial lamb, that whoever follows him is not going to work, like after Fergie or after Wenger, and you bring someone in, he's not going to do very well for 18 months. And
it will if you've got the players.
Okay.
It will if you've got the players. The players are ultimately, because they do it for you. But I can understand people, but then if you're a manager now and they come to you, you're not going to say, oh, well, actually, no, I'll wait until you sack the fella in front of me and then I'll come in. Are you? Because you're going to take it. Yeah. It's a natural thing, isn't it? So it remains to be seen. But at the moment, the way that City are, I wouldn't mind betting they win all four this season. First time anyone will ever have done it. And I mean, De Bruyne just comes back. Haaland's just come back. So they're like kids with new toys, aren't they?
Do you think the Man City treble-winning team is better than the United treble-winning team?
I can't remember the United winning team. I was at the game as well in Barcelona. Yes, because actually, when you look at that United team, there's a couple of strange names on there, aren't there?
Okay, some players that have won it because they're part of the team, not necessarily at that level.
Yeah, who for whatever reason were in the team on the day. I think there's a couple, and I think didn't he play Giggsy on the right or something? Or I know he did something. I mean, I
think they started that way and then made a change partway through the game.
No, City are better, and I'm not saying that because I'm anti-Man United, but I mean, I just think they're the best thing I've ever seen.
Do you like their football?
Yeah, love it.
You do?
Well, because it's with a purpose. Because De Bruyne gets on the ball. Where does he look first? Forward. Always forward. And if he can't pass it forward, all right, he might have to pass it sideways. But he just straight away. And if you're playing in that team up front, you make a run. because you're going to get it.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Foden's the same. And they're just that way. I think they're the best team I've ever seen. I watch a lot of football, and honestly, I don't. And you get all the stats now, which bugs me anyway. And then they go, he completed 283 passes, and I'm shouting at the telly, going, "How many passes were forward?
Yeah.
Not back or side.
Sideways.
How many just for the sake of it?" That's the only thing that pisses me off about football at the moment.
Yeah.
That, and I still have this thing about diving, and does my head in.
Yeah.
When they're not injured.
Yeah.
Just does my head in. And people say, that's since we got all the foreigners in. Well, everyone's doing it.
What kills me is the other team will kick the ball off. And then, like, why?
Yeah.
Like, what? And he just pops straight up. I go,
Yeah.
I'm all good. You're like,
Yeah.
play on then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Show the incentive and you can predict the behaviour.
Yeah, we need to kind of, just be a bit strong. In fairness to the referees, they've probably been stronger this year.
Yeah.
I think they've let a little bit more go, but they let more go on, and then people start moaning. What do you want? It's physical.
Yeah.
It's a physical game, so just deal with it.
So we've just had a January transfer window where very little happened.
I thought you were going to say you two were out.
Very little happened, and it seems like Everton got the point deduction from FFP, and all the other teams were spooked and thought, let's not let that be us. Let's be careful, make sure. Do you think we need to make any changes to FFP? Leave it as is? Get rid of it altogether?
No, just make it work.
Okay.
Make it work, and just.
What would that look like?
Well, whatever you bring in, you can spend.
Okay.
And that would be, and if that's for everybody, that's fair, isn't it? And all right, smaller clubs will say, "Well, we don't get enough money." And say, "Well, no, but it's always been like that."
Okay.
There's always been a Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal. Always got more money. We had more money at Liverpool in our day. So, just be absolutely 100%. Like, this is the way that it happens. And if you obviously go over the line, you're in trouble. It's dead simple, isn't it? It really is. I don't see what else you can do. I mean, and we're waiting for the City's 115, whatever. So that'll be interesting, won't it?
Yeah, to see what happens there. I mean, by having that in place, there's the argument that fans of smaller clubs can't dream that they're going to get bought by a billionaire and be able to shoot up the table like teams have done in the past.
Won't be many though, would there?
Not many teams, you mean?
No. Yeah. No, I don't think. And I mean, look, if you, I mean, I'm assuring that, thinking that all the money from sales of, from round the ground advertising, the whole thing and everything like that. So you'll have to work harder on that.
Grow organically as a business.
I would say so. I mean, and you can, you look at teams and you can make some really good teams with not too much money. There's a few good guys who've been able to do that. And it'd be a real test for a manager. That the easiest thing in the world is if you're given gazillions, so you just go out and buy everybody. Doesn't necessarily. Look at PSG. I mean, they've never been near of anything. I don't think. There's my memory.
They haven't won the Champions League, have they?
No, well, that's what they were bought for, to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
So, but no, I just think make it money. I think Everton have been a bit unlucky, to be fair, but I think Forest are up now as well, aren't they? I think they're in the mess.
Oh yeah, up on the. We don't know what's going to happen.
We're still waiting for what's happening with Everton, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, they're appealing the original decision, and there's a decision to be made on whether the 10-point deduction will be reduced, and then there's also potentially more charges coming in.
But I mean, I'm not, playing for Liverpool all these years. I'd love Everton to stay in the league because, first,
size of the club.
No, the first thing is you get 6 points off them every year, right?
Right, okay.
Not that's that a particular factor, you'll understand. No, but it's just, it's great. It used to be a bit naughty, the games used to be naughty in the 80s, but in terms of with the spectators. But it's thing about Liverpool as a city is it's split into two in terms of who you support, but families families as well. And
Yeah.
you see the guys coming to the games, and blue scarves, red scarves, and all that kind of stuff. And it's just better for the city. And by the way, Bramley Dock looks sensational. I think there's a roof on it now, isn't there? I think the roof has just gone on. I thought I saw a picture the other day about it. And what a great place that will be.
Yeah.
Although Baltic in the winter, you're right.
Because it's so exposed.
Essentially 15 yards from the sea. And if it kicks off, people will be getting dumped in it, won't they? It's a cert. If it really kicks off, it's got to be. But it is Baltic down there. So that thing, can he play at Stoke on a Tuesday night?
Right, okay.
That is now, can he play at Bramley Dock on any day?
Okay.
Yeah, because the wind comes in off the Mersey and it cuts you in two.
Right, okay.
So if you ever go to a game there, 3 layers.
Right, good to know. To know. England's prospects for the Euros this summer.
Need to win it.
Need to win it.
Yeah, I think they need to win it because they've still been the Neely men, haven't they? I mean, should have done better at the World. Obviously, your man misses a penalty and stuff like that. But it's just that I don't think they are convinced that they can actually win it.
Okay.
I think they make
Why?
all the right noises. Well, because the last time was '66, wasn't it?
Okay. So history's weighing them down.
Well, I think a little bit, and I do think with Gareth, I don't get the 2 holding midfield players.
Okay.
I don't think you need that. And look at the players we can unleash.
Yeah.
Seriously now, this must be the best squad he's had. Excuse me. So let him get out there, go for it.
And I guess you've got some players that if you were, let's say you played with the 1 holding midfield player of Rice, but you had Bellingham in a 10 role or one attacking. If you really were under the cosh and you could drop him back in.
Well, everybody
surely.
drops in because the days of forwards not knowing how to defend are gone.
Yeah.
And that is one of the big things in football. We played and we didn't sit down and have a debrief. And they go, well, what did you do when that was over? They had none of that. We didn't do free kicks or corners, anything. We just made them up. Yeah. You could tell sometimes that we made them up. And they just said to it, look, you're good enough players. You wouldn't be here if you couldn't sort it out. So we sorted it out. But now they know everything. They get half an hour all on them on the game that they played. And you should have tucked in here. You should have done that. And there is no excuse now. Okay. Absolutely no excuse whatsoever. And they've obviously got I think they've got a good spirit, haven't they? And I think he's done well, Gareth. But this is
You don't think he's overrated, Gareth Southgate?
I don't know who overrates him, to be fair.
Okay.
I think people
he's
just
underrated.
Say, yeah, well, I mean, we should have done that. Yeah, probably should have done. But would you throw him out just because of that? No, not really. He's an intelligent boy and all that. But I just don't get I don't get the 2 holding midfield players.
Okay.
Because your defenders should be able to help out with that. So, but that's the way that he wants to play. But now, it may well be because of the guys you just mentioned and the Fodens of this world also.
Yeah.
You might look at it and think, Christ, we could win this 5-4.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I don't think that's in his DNA.
No.
But he's now surely somebody's on his shoulder going, just unleash them.
Yeah.
Let them go for it. And even if they went out by unleashing them, I don't think he'd get any stick.
Less than if it was didn't manage
He'll
to
always
score
get stick because it's England manager and all that. But less because if they went out for it and wow, because we go mad, don't we? We go mad when it's like a major competition. Yeah. Absolutely bonkers. I mean, even the dog supports England, even though he's Irish. But I would just let them go. Okay. And I mean, the lad who's gone to Real Madrid. Wow, what a player he is. Yeah, and he's a giant.
Future Ballon d'Or winner, do you think?
I would have thought so. I would have thought so. But he's just, what can't he do?
Yeah.
I mean...
Paul Merson said he's like, if you made a footballer in a lab, is what you come up with, Jude Bellingham.
Yeah. No, I think he's absolutely 100% right. Imagine playing against him.
Yeah. And he's still so young.
Well, that's it. And it would appear that his head's screwed up.
Oh, yeah.
So you're probably reading that he's taking a car out now and got pissed and he's out for 6 months. No, but he's no. But he seemed. By the way, his brother's not bad.
Yeah.
I've seen him a couple of times at Sunderland. He's not bad. He's not sort of as quick as his elder brother, but he can play, and he's a big piece of work. He is a big boy. Yeah. Well, they'll probably play together for England now. I would have thought at some stage.
Wow. What are your thoughts on punditry now? It's become more stats based. The likes of Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher have sort of taken it. You like them?
Yeah. And I like Neville as much as I can like him.
Because he's a United player.
Yeah. But no, I think they're good. Did you see the thing that Jamie did on Monday night about Alonso?
Yeah. Very
good.
Yeah.
By the way, so was the goalkeeper's thing as well, Petr Cech.
Yeah.
No, I think they're really, really good. Look, it's when if you're a pundit, you've got to tell people something that they don't know. I think. Does he say something where you think, oh yeah, never thought of that.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. That's what I want to hear. I'm watching.
Those two guys, those two guys got it. Ali McCoy has got it, and he's funny. I just think commentators, I think, sometimes speak too much. Not pundits. Commentators just speak a little bit too much, and you just know they've got a line.
Yeah, okay.
And you know it's coming, and you kind of think,
yeah.
But I look at them, and I'm sorry, but Motson, Barry Davis, and even the guys before them. When you think what they did it without half the things that help you to do it. And Motti, God rest his soul, absolutely balmy, 100%.
Really?
Oh, 100. You didn't just co-commentate with him. You babysat him.
Okay.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and he had to have he'd had to have a cheese toasted before he went to bed. Honestly, just mad. But you know what? In all the games, and I did loads with him and big finals and everything, never got it wrong.
Right.
Never ever got it wrong at all, and that for them is a big one. And Barry's commentary when Holland scored that goal. What's his name? Who scored the goal? What in the World Cup? No, anyway, forget about that. But you'll be able to put that in somewhere.
Sure.
Who played for Arsenal? Bergkamp. I was nearly there, wasn't I? Yeah. But when Bergkamp scored that goal, you can't. And it just came off Barry's head like that. I mean, they're just absolutely brilliant. Oh, but Motti was just bonkers.
Are there things that pundits do that drive you nuts? Or they say again and again?
Oh, well, that low block and all that, I'm not having it. I scream at the telly. and all the other ones as well, all the other stuff. But it's just, you can't reinvent the game, can you? The game's the game.
Yeah. The one that gets me is when you hear pundits or commentators, they'll say something's unbelievable. And I always want to but you hear it 3 times a game. You think, well, it's not that unbelievable. Then it's I think you need to understand the definition of the word.
Yeah, we get carried away with that. Don't we? Maybe that's because of, the English language. I don't know, but it's just everything's not brilliant.
Yeah.
Because when one thing is brilliant, it can't be any more brilliant than the thing you just said. It's you watch Messi play. He's just magnificent.
Yeah.
He is magnificent, and but he's a god, isn't he?
Have you been paying attention to what Joey Barton's been saying recently?
Oh, yes.
What are your thoughts?
Oh, he's mad, isn't he? He's mad. But he's got a point in a way, but there's obviously a way of putting it through. And I don't know, the brakes are off, aren't they? Completely.
Yeah.
But I haven't, of late, I don't know whether he stopped, because I just have Twitter. I don't go on anything else, and I don't often go on. I normally go on when someone's died who I've played with. Christ Almighty, there's a few of them. And I sort of read him for a while, and I just thought, you know what, Joey, just go and get a job or something. Or he's angry, and
Well, he's probably made that almost impossible now.
Yeah, I would have thought so. But you know what? Somebody will take him.
You think so?
Oh, there's always somebody. There's always somebody somebody will think, oh, you know what? And also, the coverage for the club that he's at might not necessarily be good, but it'll be in the papers.
There's attention. And
there's always one.
It's interesting because I would definitely like people in football to be more open and honest and talk more freely. Yeah. Often interviews with current players or managers, they're so boring because they just don't say anything.
No. Waste of time.
Maybe he's not quite done it the right way, but as you say, it's sometimes refreshing, even if you don't agree with what they say, just to hear someone go, I think this.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love it if some footballers took a sort of almost like a UFC approach and were like, we're going to absolutely smash them next week. I think that'd be great fun, but no one does.
No, and then you're just worried someone might break your leg, aren't you? That's
Or you've done the opposition's team talk for them. That
yeah,
sort of
exactly.
thing.
Good night, Lucy. So, yeah. Yeah, but it's the problem now is you just have to be really careful what they say. And I wouldn't want to do it now.
It's a shame.
I really wouldn't want to do it. It's just like, no, thank you very much. And even the commentators as well.
Very careful.
Very, very careful. Although you do know there's quite a few of them have got a scripted line for a particular...
You think whilst they're commenting? Oh, I say for particular scenarios. Yeah. I could say this like plug and play.
They'll have a playlist.
Yeah.
On the left-hand side of the page, and I'll chuck that one in now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Marcus Rashford?
Sorry.
Sorry.
He lost his way, didn't he? There's no doubt about it. And I don't know whether it was all the work that he did, obviously in COVID, etc. But I think he started to look a little bit better, in fairness. In fact, the front three have started to look better at Man United, haven't they?
Yeah.
And I think he just needs to be told, just go out and enjoy it. Because he's a player. There's no doubt about it. But he's been caught in a couple of nightclubs, hasn't he, and all that kind of stuff. There, but for the grace of God. But I think he's just got to understand that you can't go out on Thursday and Friday if you're playing on Saturday. You might be able to go out on Wednesday.
And call in sick when you're not even on the same patch of land.
Yeah. But you wouldn't get rid of him because I think he'll come good again. And he's in his full stride as well. And you forget he's strong.
Is he good enough to be the main man at Man United?
Probably not at the moment. No, no, I don't think he is. And the lad they signed from Scandinavia, who started. He was from Holland, wasn't he? He's scoring
Hoyland.
Goals. Hoyland, yeah. He started to score.
I think he's Danish. I think.
Is he Danish? All right. I was half so. Right. Scandinavia.
Yeah.
You know me. That's too bad. 2 out of 10. He looks hungry. He's got the hunger that Rashford had. Maybe they should have a chat. But it's very interesting because the three of them now, is it Garnacho as well? They're going to be a handful. So it might, I think United have improved because of those three.
Do you think Ten Hag will last?
Yeah.
You think he will?
I do, because I don't think the guys coming in are going to sack him.
Okay.
And I think, in fact, I just read this morning that they're saying that we're talking about moving the ground now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Talking about moving the ground and everything, which obviously is
because there's the debate of do you repair or just have a new one,
which is cheaper. It's Jim Ratcliffe, isn't it? So who's not done particularly good with any of the teams he's had at all. But
so you don't think he'll be the man to come in and necessarily make Man United this terrifying force?
I don't know what Dave Brailsford is going to do. They're saying he's going to give them the extra whatever, because everything's been tried in football. Man United aren't that far off.
Okay.
I think they made a mistake with the goalkeeper, but it looks like he's starting to get better. But I would think they won't finish far off fifth, which, if you ask United fans, that's not good enough. But he's done okay, Ten Hag, I think.
Okay.
You just wonder. You just have that wonder, and I don't know whether he's a bit too soft.
Okay.
But then again, the thing is now you can't bury players anymore.
They won't take it.
You lose them.
And they've got a lot more power.
They've got a lot more power, and unfortunately, and it's not everyone, but then the agent rings up, and there's also like you can send them into a spiral and everything. So it's so much harder to be a manager. That's why Klopp been so good, because he gives it to them.
Right. Yeah.
He gives it to them, and but they've got total respect for him. And I think Pep's the same. I mean, Pep rages at them, comes on the pitch, doesn't he, and rages at them, and then they have a little bit of a hug. Yeah. And it's happy days. But they can do that because they've got brilliant players and they've got 20 of them and they can leave people out. But, it's hard. I mean, it's hard at that level because everyone's got to be your mate. And as soon as you pick a team, the first 11, the other 11 are just thinking you're a...
Or at Chelsea, the other 27, however
Well, I thought it was 140, but I wasn't sure.
Greatest ever Liverpool player?
Kenny. King Kenny. Couldn't run, couldn't edit. He had a big fat arse and he was a genius. Honestly, unbelievable. And never drank as a player. Very, very, very rarely. Made up for it now, by the way.
Okay.
He's the last out, always. But never drank as a player. Used to go to bed every afternoon, sleep and the whole thing,
As professional as you could be.
Very, very, very professional. Never wore shin pads. I remember talking to him one day about it because I didn't wear shin pads. I wasn't comfortable. And I said, "You never worn them?" He went, "No." He said, "The day that I don't know the tackle is the day I don't know the tackle's coming is the day I pack in."
Okay.
And by the way, if you saw his shins after games,
Right.
I was kicked to. But he was a genius,
Yeah.
and he could give it as well.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he could give it. Well, he's from Scotland, isn't he? near the Gorbals. So yeah.
Most overrated player, obviously not Liverpool specific. Any player that comes to mind, do you think overrated?
God, put me on my toes there. I don't really know, actually.
Yeah.
I think teams can be overrated, can't they? I don't. I just think I can't really give you one, which I'd love to.
Paul Pogba.
Who?
Paul Pogba.
Oh, well, he was just a car crash. Well, he was, wasn't he? Did you hear what he did when he was at... what was the other one? The other mad Italian. No. Who?
You talking about Balotelli?
Yeah.
Balotelli, yeah.
Balotelli, was he at Milan? Or AC or the other one?
Milan, Inter, City.
Oh, all of them. Right, so where did Rafa go? Where did Rafa Benitez go? He went to one of the Italians. Inter. Apparently, I don't know if it's true, there's a big long driveway into the training ground, and Balotelli had these super fast cars. They were racing to see who was the quickest
On the driveway.
on the driveway. And I mean, you can imagine Rafa when he found out, crikey, because he is nuts, right? And you think, oh my God! But I didn't see. I don't know what he was all about. That's a really good example, actually. And he was probably one who got too much too early. But on his day, he could play. But unfortunately, it was every Halloween. It was like not a regular occurrence.
I do wonder if modern footballers can even be regular people when they know they're going to be multimillionaires from the age of 11. A lot of them, the best ones, they are treated like gods as young teenagers.
Yeah, but they live in fear because they live in fear of injury.
Okay,
they live in that's the.
Do you think they still do? Because obviously injuries shortened your career, but. Good now at putting these players back together to be able to play.
Yeah, they are. But there are still some who don't make it anymore and are not quite the same.
Yeah, okay.
But I think that's the biggest fear because the money's there and that's done. And say you finish at 25, what are you going to do? It's go back to that thing about divorce between 35 and 40. It's like it's a mad statistic. Yeah. So, but Balotelli, I mean. You just know by having that many clubs, he's just nuts, don't you? Well, you do, don't you? I mean, it's just...
He had a whole aura.
Was he the one who had YO?
Yeah, that's Balotelli. Yeah.
By the underneath, because you're crap.
And what's your most controversial football opinion? Something that you think that other people don't seem to agree with?
Oh, well, I'd like the referees to be mic'd up. And I don't think it's really controversial.
Yeah.
Why can't we? It's just going to help. The punters can listen to it. Do you think
that's a bit like patronising almost of football fans, being like the rugby fans can cope with it, football fans you get too heated?
No. It's just come out. What's happening? It's the truth. Just tell people, and then you can't be ostracised or anything, can you? If you just say, look, the referee goes, we're doing this and all that kind of stuff. It's we live in an era where it's like you can talk to people around the world and do absolutely everything, and it's like you can contact people. It's just kind of thing. Why don't we just do it? And in fairness to the refs, I think it'd help them.
Yeah.
You know, and
there'd probably be more empathy towards them if people understood where they're coming from, what they're seeing, what they're saying.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm a rugby fan as well, and you absolutely see that. Because people will go, oh, I can see what he was thinking there. Because you literally heard it.
That's it. And, if they don't like it, probably because a goal scored against them, they won't like it regardless.
Yeah.
Just, I don't, it's a strange thing about football that it really, why can't we make it the best we possibly can? Because it's a fab game, isn't it? And it's one of the easiest games that you'll ever take up. You only need a ball. You don't need goals.
2 jumpers.
You don't, absolutely. 2 jumps and a goal post and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, I think people lose a sight of that, don't they? They really seriously do. And when you see a top game, the best thing for me is occasionally I would have been stood by the touchline watching the game. Wow. When you watch them then, and when the ball's sort of coming to the left wing and you see what everything is around and the way it comes in, it's so quick. You think, I mean, you used to think it was difficult in our day in many ways, but when you look at it now, it's like
speed of everything. Yeah. I guess the playing surfaces now really help with that.
Well, ours was a diamond of shit by October. It's like that. Control that if you can. Yeah. That's why we were brilliant, apparently. Yeah.
Fab. Well, Mark, thank you very much for coming to speak with me. Really appreciate it. Anywhere, you mentioned Twitter. Do you want to give your Twitter handle if people want to follow you there? Or?
Yeah, I'll have to ask. His shoe must be obeyed to do that for me.
Okay.
I thought she was. I thought she might be. Are you listening? Maybe not. She found a way back though. See, look, I'd have been in bloody Stoke by now. Yeah, by far the brains in this combination.
Awesome. Fab. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot.
Pleasure. No, I enjoyed it.
It was fascinating to have Mark on the show. I really enjoyed our conversation. But what did you think? What did you agree with, disagree with? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this podcast, I think you'll love my conversation with Matt Le Tissier, where we talk about him being sacked from Sky, football, and so much more. If you want, you can check it out right here.